Shalom, shalom, everybody. How y'all doing? Happy Sabbath. What's up, baby? Welcome back to the Sabbath reading. What's up? It's Shalom, man. I'm out here. Big Lowski. Yeah, man. We here on the Sabbath day. We trying to see what it is and what it ain't and what we can and what we can't. Up in the scriptures. Oh, what it is and what it ain't. What we can and what we can't. Grab your highlighters, maybe a pen, something to write something down with, man, to make some shit happen. And we about to dive into the book of Job today. The book of Job today, man. Because I'm feeling like Job, baby. Oh, I'm feeling like Job. Man, there's been stuff back to back to back. Seem like it's been stuff back to back. Like Job. One thing is another. If it ain't one thing, it's another. If it ain't one person, it's another. Man. The things. You know, it's lessons to be learned in all things. It is lessons to be learned. It's just, do you see the lessons that need to be learned? Have you learned them? Hey, that's something I'm not sure about for me yet. Apparently, I ain't learned my lessons. And I'm not sure all what lessons they are that need to be learned. But that's why we're going to try to open the scriptures and see what we can and what we can't. And hopefully that'll go with the lessons that need to be learned, you know, what we can and what we can't and what it is and what it ain't. These are the things we need to know. That's part of the milk. That's part of those who say they want to keep the Most High's commandments. Hey, that's what you got to do. You got to figure out what it is and what it ain't. And be grateful for what you got. Be grateful. Because right now I'm grateful. Even though it's a lot of humbug and shenanigans, you know, circling me. Like they say the Indians did the wagon. That's what they say. Even though it's a lot of humbug circling me, you know, hey, I'm still alive. I'm still alive and can push through to the next day. So you got to give praises to the Almighty. You got to give praises. You know, blow up the trumpet and be grateful. Be grateful for what you do have. It don't matter what it is. You know, be grateful for what you do have. So. So we blow up the trumpet, man. Blow up the trumpet like Asaph and his team that was up there with the Levites blowing the trumpets and playing the cymbals and the timbrels and the harps and other musical instruments in rejoicing to the Most High God. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to rejoice, man. You know, I don't know what you believe in, but I follow the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of the Bible. So that's what we're going to read. Whatever book you have, man, hey, open your book and follow your book. Follow your stuff. Find out what you can and what you can't from yours and do it. When you come on in, like, comment, subscribe, man. Definitely put something in the chat so I can know the chat working. Let me know the chat working. I appreciate it. Every little bit helps the channel as I try to work my way back and work my way out of this tomfoolery. But we're going to read about Job, you know. We're going to read and see what Job, you know, do you have the perseverance of Job? Do you have the faith of Job? Do you have the grit? The grit, as they would call it back in the day, the grit of Job. It's a lot of questions to ask yourself. It's a lot of things to be asked. Oh, man. So let's read. Let's start off. The book of Job. We're going to read we're going to see what the front of the book has to say. The book of Job. The events of the book of Job are perhaps among the earliest of the Bible, and likely set in the period of the patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph. Now, Job, I wonder why they pronounce it Job and not Job. I wonder. I've never really looked into it. I'd have to, I think I have to see Ayab. I have to see where they get the pronunciation from. Job tells the story of a man who lost everything, his wealth, his family, his health, and wrestled to understand why. Oh, and I'm definitely, that's a question I wrestle with. I wrestle with that question. Why? Why do the things happen the way they happen? And what must I see from these things happening? Definitely stuff you need to sit back and ask yourself. What had he done to deserve such affliction and suffering? And believing that he had done no wrong, the only reasonable conclusion Job could reach was that God had made a mistake. God had chastised him without cause. And if only Job had a way to clear up the confusion, but he could think of none. And the book begins with a pair of debates between God and Satan and moves through 3 cycles of debates between Job and his friends and concludes with a dramatic confrontation between God and with God and his struggling servant. And in the end, Job acknowledged the sovereignty of God and recognized his error in assuming he knew more about his situation than God. And Job was restored as God's servant and received more than he had lost. The author of Job is unknown, and there are no textual hints as to his identity. The non-Hebraic cultural background may point to Gentile authorship, but one school of thought is that Moses wrote this book. The land of Uz, 1 verse 1, is directly adjacent to Midian, where Moses lived for 40 years, and Moses may have obtained a record of the dialogue left by Job or Elihu. And others suggested authors include Job himself, Solomon, Elihu, Isaiah, Hezekiah, Jeremiah, and Ezra. The title, Iyab, is Hebrew title for this book, and the name has 2 possible meanings. If derived from the Hebrew word for persecution, it means persecuted one. Or it might come from the Arabic word meaning to come back or repent. If so, it may be defined as repented one. Both meanings apply to the book. The Greek and Latin title is Job or Job. Ayab. Let's see what it's in here. This is the Bible, the scriptures. It has the Hebrew, Nehemiah, Ezra, Hebrew words. Let's see if we find Job. Ayab, that's what it says in here. Ayab. 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 We'll read in Ayab, and see what Ayab got to offer. Is there any do's and don'ts or any cans and can'ts in Ayab or Job? Chapter 1, Job's greatness. Chapter 1, welcome to the Sabbath reading. Welcome to the Sabbath reading. Chapter 1, Job's greatness. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job or Job. And that man was perfect and upright and one that feared God and eschewed evil. Job was perfect and upright. And that man was perfect and upright. Ain't nobody perfect but Jesus. Job was perfect. And one that feared God and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she-asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. And his sons went and feasted in their houses, every one his day, that's their birthday, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, and that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. Job went sacrifice for them children celebrating their birthdays. Everyone on his birthday. Put that on the side. Sacrifice for them. Satan's request. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them. And the Lord said unto Satan, whence thou comest? Then Satan answered unto the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? You heard about my boy Job, man? My boy Job down there, man, doing this thing. That there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feared God and eschewed evil. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, doth Job fear God for naught? Has not thou made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thine power, only upon himself put not forth thy hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. Job's affliction. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding beside them, and the Sabines fell upon them, and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burned up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee. Job's worship. Then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped and said, naked came I into my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord had taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this Job sinned not, nor charged God foolishly. Chapter 2. Satan's second affliction of Job. Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Shalom, I appreciate the comment. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil? And still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him, to destroy him without cause. And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin, yea, all that the man hath will he give for his life. But put forth thine hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sore boils, from the sole of his foot unto his crown. And he took his hemipotsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down amongst the ashes. Rebuke of Job's wife. Then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse God and die. Yes, I am. Curse God and die. But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God, and shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. Job's three friends. Now when Job's three friends heard of all this evil that was come upon him, they came every one from his own place. Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite. For they had made an appointment together to come to mourn with him and to comfort him. And when they lifted up their eyes afar off and knew him not, they lifted up their voice and wept. And they rent every one his mantle and sprinkled dust upon their heads towards heaven. So they sat down with him upon the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and none spoke a word unto him, for they saw that his grief was very great. Chapter 3, Job curses his birth. After this opened Job his mouth and cursed his day. His day, once again, that's his birthday. Cursed his day, birthday, his day, birthday. Job cursed his birthday. The hell with my birthday. And Job spake and said, let the day perish wherein I was born, and the night in which it was said that there is a man-child conceived. Let that day be darkness. Let not God regard it from above, and neither let the light shine upon it. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the blackness of the day terrify it. As for that night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year, and let it not come into the number of the months. Lo, let that night be solitary. Let no joyful voice come therein, and let them curse it that curse the day, who are ready to raise up their mourning. Let the stars of the twilight thereof be dark, and let it look for light, but have none, neither let it see the dawning of the day, because it shut not up the dawn, the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from mine eyes. Who died it not from the womb? Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me? Oh, why the breast that I should suck? For now, should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept, that had I been at rest. With kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as the hidden untimely birth I had not been, as infants which never saw light. and there the wicked cease from troubling. And there the weary be at rest, and there the prisoners rest together. And they hear not the voice of the oppressor. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Shalom. Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than for hidden treasures, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad. And when they can find the grave, why is light given to a man whose way is hid, and whom God had hedged in? For my sighing cometh before I eat, and my roarings are poured out like the waters. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. And I was not in safety, and neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. Chapter 4. Eliphaz questions Job. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, If we essay to communicate with thee, wilt thou be grieved? But who can withhold himself from speaking? Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands. Thy words have upholden him that was fallen, and thou hast strengthened the feeble knees. But now it is come upon thee, and thou faintest. It toucheth thee, and thou art troubled. Is not this thy fear, thy confidence, thy hope, and the uprightness of thy ways? Remember, I pray thee, whoever perish, being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. But the blast of God they perish. By the blast of God they perish. And by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed. The roaring of the lion and the voice of the fierce lion and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perisheth for lack of prey, and the stout lion whelps are scattered abroad. Now a thing was secretly brought to me, and mine ear received a little thereof. And in thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falleth on men, fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. And then a spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. I stood still. It stood still. But I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before mine eyes, and there was silence, and I heard a voice saying, Shall mortal man be more just than God? Shall a man be more pure than his maker? Behold, he put no trust in his servants, and his angels he charged with folly. How much less in them that dwell in the house of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, which are crushed before the mouth? They are destroyed from morning to evening. They perish forever without any regarding it. And doth not their excellency, which is in them, go away? They die, even without wisdom. Chapter 5, the righteous will triumph. Call now, if there be any that will answer thee, and to which of the saints wilt thou turn? For wrath killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one. I have seen the foolish taken root, but suddenly I curse his habitation. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate, and neither is there any to deliver them. Whose harvest are hungry eaten, whose harvest the hungry eateth up, and taketh it even out of the thorns, and the robber swalloweth up their substance. And although affliction cometh not forth of the dust, neither doth trouble spring out of the ground, yet man is born into trouble, as the sparks fly upward. I would seek unto God, and unto God would I commit my cause, which doeth great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number. Who giveth rain upon the earth and sendeth waters upon the fields, to set up on high those that be low, and those which mourn may be exalted to safety. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprises. That's what I need. That's what I need. Men things, women stuff, basic information. I'll go ahead and do the yellow. I'll go ahead and do the yellow. Just sayings, good sayings. Yellow is for good sayings. I'm trying to make sure I color coordinate my highlighter, my highlights. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the froward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daytime, and grope on the noonday as in night. But he saveth the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hand of the mighty. So the poor hath hope, and iniquity stoppeth their mouth. God chastens his children. Behold, happy is the man whom God correcteth. Therefore despiseth not thou the chastening of the Almighty. For he maketh sore, and bindeth up. He woundeth, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, and yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. And thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, and neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, and neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation, and shalt not sin. Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great, and thine offspring as the grass of the earth. And thou shalt come to thy grave in the full age, like as a shock of corn cometh in his season. Lo, this, we have searched it, so it is. Hear it, and know thou art for thy good. Chapter 6. Job, grief is unbearable. But Job answered and said, "Oh, that my grief were though thoroughly weighted, and my calamity laid in the balances together. For now it would be heavier than the sand of the sea, and therefore my words are swallowed up. For the arrows of the Almighty are within me, the poison whereof drinketh up my spirit. The terrors of God do set themselves in array against me. Doth the wind wild ass bray when he hath grass, or loweth the ox over his fodder? Can that which is unsavory be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the white of an egg? The thing that my soul refused to touch are as my sorrowful meat. Oh, that I might have my request, and that God would grant me the thing that I long for. Even that it would please God to destroy me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off. Then should I yet have comfort, and yea, I would harden myself in sorrow, and let him not spare, for I have not concealed the words of the Holy One. What is my strength, that I should hope? And what is mine end, that I should prolong my life? Is my strength the strength of stones, or is my flesh of brass? Is not my help in me, and is wisdom driven quite from me? Is not my help in me? I wonder if that goes with the kingdom is within you. I wonder if that's what that goes. To him that is afflicted, pity should be shewed from his friend, but he forsaketh fear of the Almighty. My brethren have dealt deceitfully as a brook, and as the stream of brooks they pass away, which are blackish by reason of the ice, and wherein the snow is hid. What time they wax warm, they vanish, and when it is hot, they are consumed out of their place. The paths of their way are turned aside. They go to nothing, then perish. And the troops of Tema looked, and companies of Sheba waited for them. And they were confounded because they had hoped. And they came thither, and were ashamed. And for now ye are nothing. Ye see my casting down, and are afraid. And did I say, bring unto me? Or did I say, or give a reward for me of your substance, or deliver me from the enemy's hand, or redeem me from the hand of the Almighty? Teach me, and I will hold my tongue, and cause me to understand wherein I have erred. I need that. I need that. I need that in my life. Teach me, and I will hold my tongue, and cause me to understand wherein I have erred. I need to know that. Cause me to understand wherein I have erred. Teach me, and I will hold my tongue, and cause me to understand wherein I have erred. How forcible are right words! But what doth your arguing reprove? Do ye imagine to reprove words and the speeches of one that is desperate, which are as wind? Yea, ye overwhelm the fatherless, and ye dig a pit for your friend. Now therefore be content, look upon me, for it is evident unto you if I lie. And return, I pray you, let it not be iniquity, and yea, return again, my righteousness is in it. Is there iniquity in my tongue? Cannot my taste discern perverse things? Chapter 7, man's time on earth. Is there not an appointed time to man upon earth? Are not his days also like the days of an hireling? As a servant earnestly desireth the shadow, and as an hireling looketh for the reward of his work, so am I made to possess months of vanity, and wearisome nights are appointed to me. When I lie down, I say, when I shall rise, and the night be gone. When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise, and the night be gone? And I am full of tossing to and fro unto the dawning of the day. My flesh is clothed with worms and clods of dust. My skin is broken and become loathsome. My days are swifter than the weaver's shuttle, and are spent without hope. Oh, remember that my life is wind. Mine eyes shall no more see good. The eye of him that had seen me shall see me no more, and thine eyes are upon me, and I am not. As the cloud is consumed and vanisheth away, so he that goeth down to the grave shall come up no more. He shall return no more to his house, and neither shall his place know him any more. Therefore, I will not refrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul. Am I a sea or a whale, that thou settest a watch over me? When I say, my bed shall comfort me, my couch shall ease my complaint, then thou scarest me with dreams and terrifies me through visions. See that my soul chooseth strangling and death rather than my life. I loathe it. I will not live always. Let me alone, for my days are vanity. And what is man, that thou should magnify him, and that thou shouldest set thine heart upon him? and that thou shouldest visit him every morning and try him every moment. How long wilt thou not depart from me, nor let me alone to swallow till I swallow down my spittle? I have sinned. What shall I do unto thee, O thou preserver of men? Why hast thou set me as a mark against thee, so that I am a burden to myself? And why dost thou not pardon my transgression and take away my iniquity? For now shall I sleep in the dust, and thou shalt seek me in the morning, but I shall not be. Chapter 8, Bildad, God is just. Bildad. Then answered Bildad the Shulamite, the Shuhite, and said, How long wilt thou speak these things? And how long shall the words of thy mouth be like a strong wind? Doth God pervert judgment, or doth the Almighty pervert justice? If the children have sinned against him, and he have cast them away for their transgression, if thou wouldest seek unto God betimes and make thy supplication to the Almighty, if thou wert pure and upright, surely now he would awake for thee and make the habitation of thy righteousness prosperous. Though thy beginning was small, yet thy latter end shall greatly increase. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to search of their fathers. That's a good one too. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. For what we are but of yesterday, and know nothing, because our days upon earth are a shadow. And shall not they teach thee, and tell thee, and utter words out of their heart? That's what we're doing now. We're inquiring of the former age. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of thy fathers. That's what we're doing right now. Inquiring of the former age, and we're searching out our fathers. Shall not they teach thee, and tell thee, and utter words out of their heart? Can the rush grow up without mire? Can the flag grow without water? Whilst it is yet in his greenness, and not cut down, it withereth before any other herb. So are the paths of all that forgot God, and the hypocrite's hope shall perish. Whose hope shall be cut off, and whose trust shall be a spider's web? He shall lean upon his house, but it shall not stand. And he shall hold it fast, but it shall not endure. And he is green before the sun, and his branch shooteth forth in his garden. His roots are wrapped about the heap, and seeth the place of stones. If he destroy him from his place, then it shall deny him, saying, I have not seen thee. And behold, this is the joy of his way. And out of the earth shall others grow. And behold, God will not cast away a perfect man, and neither will he help the evildoers, till he fill thy mouth with laughing, and thy lips with rejoicing. They that hate thee shall be clothed with shame, and the dwelling place of the wicked shall come to naught. Chapter 9. We're going to read about 2 more chapters. We'll read to chapter 11. We'll stop there on chapter 11. Job has 42 chapters, by the way. Chapter 9. God's mighty power. Then Job answered and said, I know it is so of the truth. But how should man be just with God? If he would contend with him, he cannot answer him 1 of 1,000. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength. He had hardened himself against him and had prospered. And which removeth the mountains, and they knew not, which overturneth them in his anger, which shaketh the earth out of her place, and the pillars thereof tremble. which commanded the sun, and it riseth not, and sealeth up the stars, which alone spreadeth out the heavens, and treadeth upon the waves of the sea, which maketh Arcturus, Orion, and Pleiades, and the chambers of the south. How you know about that? How you know about that? Which doeth great things past finding out, and yea, and wonders without number. Arcturus, Orion, Pleiades, and the chambers of the south. Lo, he goeth by me, and see, I see him not. He passeth on also, but I perceive him not. And behold, he taketh away. Who can hinder him? And who will say unto him, what doest thou? If God will not withdraw his anger, the proud helpers do stoop under him. How much less shall I answer him, and choose out of my words to reason with him? Whom though I were righteous, yet would I not answer, but I would make supplication to my judge. And if I had called, and he had answered me, yet would I not believe that he had hearkened unto my voice. For he breaketh me with a tempest, and multiplieth my wounds without cause. And he will not suffer me to take my breath, but filleth me with bitterness. If I speak of strength, lo, he is strong. And if of judgment, who shall set me a time to plead? If I justify myself, mine own mouth shall condemn me. And if I say I am perfect, it shall also prove me perverse. Though I were perfect, yet would I not know my soul. I would despise my life. This is one thing, therefore I said it. He destroyeth the perfect and the wicked. And if the scourge slay suddenly, he will laugh at the trial of the innocent. And the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, and he covereth the faces of the judges thereof. And if not, where and who is he? Now my days are swifter than a post. They flee away. They see no good. My bad. That made me think about Facebook. Now my days are swifter than a post. How fast you could send a post up. They are passed away as the swift ships, as the eagle, they hasten to the prey. And if I say, I will forget my complaint, I will leave off my heaviness and comfort myself. I am afraid of all my sorrows. I know that thou wilt not hold me innocent. If I be wicked, why then labor I in vain? If I wash myself with snow water and make my hands never so clean, yet shalt thou plunge me in the ditch, and mine own clots and clothes shall abhor me. For he is not a man as I am, that I should answer him, and we should come together in judgment. And neither is there any dismay betwixt us that might lay his hand upon us both. Let him take his rod away from me, and let not his fear terrify me. Then would I speak and not fear him, but it is not so with me. Last chapter, chapter 10. And that will be the Sabbath reading, Job, chapter 1 through chapter 10. We'll stop at chapter 11. Pooh, Mr. Job. Job getting that hurt. Job's weariness of life. My soul is weary of my life. I will leave my complaint upon myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. I will say unto God, do not condemn me, and shew me wherefore thou contendest with me. Is it good unto thee that thou shouldest oppress, that thou shouldest despise the work of thine hands, and shine upon the counsel of the wicked? Hast thou eyes of flesh, or seest thou as man seeth? Are thy days as the days of man, and are thy years as man's days? That thou inquirest after mine iniquity, and searchest after my sin. Thou knowest that I am not wicked, and there is none that can deliver out of thine hand. Thine hands have made me and fashioned me together round about, yet thou dost destroy me. Remember, I beseech thee, that thou hast made me as the clay, and wilt thou bring me into the dust again? Hast thou not poured me out as milk, and curdled me as like cheese? Thou hast clothed me with skin and flesh, and hast fenced me with bones and sinews. Thou hast granted me life and favor, and thy visitation hath preserved my spirit. And these things hast thou hid in thine heart. I know that this is with thee. If I sin, then thou markest me, and thou wilt not acquit me from mine iniquity. If I be wicked, woe unto me, and if I be righteous, yet will I not lift up my head. I am full of confusion, and therefore see thou mine affliction. For it increaseth. Thou huntest me as a fierce lion, and again thou shewest thyself marvelous upon me. Thou renewest thy witnesses against me, and increaseth thine indignation upon me. Changes and war are against me. And wherefore then hast thou brought me forth out of the womb? Oh, that I had given up the ghost, and no eye had seen me. I should have been as thou, as though I had not been, and I should have been carried from the womb to the grave. Are not my days few? Cease then, and let me alone. Then I make them comfort a little, that I may take comfort a little. Before I go whence I shall not return, even to the land of darkness and the shadow of death, a land of darkness as darkness itself, and of the shadow of death without any order, and where the light is as darkness. That was Job, chapter 1 through chapter 10. We stopped at chapter 11. Man, we stopped at chapter 11. Job going through it. Job going through the humbug. Job going through the shenanigans. They put that wager on Job's head. Man, you check my boy Job out. Ooh, that boy know what he can and what he can't, and what it is and what it ain't. I bet my boy Job perfect and upright. And no matter what you do to him, Job gonna ride that wave and don't go back on me. The Most High had his confidence in Job. Can the Most High say the same thing about you? These are the questions you have to ask yourself. Is the Most High going to be as confident in you as he is in Job, or as he was in Job? He was ready. He was ready to put it all on the line. What up, baby? What's up? You talking about it? Hey, I got this partner down there, Job, man. That boy Job, he on to something down there. Job the man. Job is Himothy. Job is him. Job is him. He not them. He him. Job was balling, baby. Job had a wife. He had camels and asses and oxen. Job had the bag. Job had that bag until he didn't. He had that bag until he didn't. But not having that bag, he still didn't curse the Most High. He might have been in pain. He might not have understood. He might have contemplated what had he done. But he did not curse the Most High God. He did not curse him. Like he said, you gave it all to me, and you can take it away. But how many of us have that mindset? Hey, these things that we got, we didn't just get them on our own. You got it off that muscle? Or did the Most High have hands in there and place you in places where you needed to be and people around you where they needed to be in order for you to have the things you need to have, in order for you to hear what you need to hear, in order for you to see what you need to see, in order for you to feel what you need to feel? And sometimes it is something that we need discernment to understand, but we don't always have the understanding because our thoughts not his thoughts. Who would have thought that you needed that in your life? Who would have known that you needed them in your life except for the Most High? If we knew all the things we needed to know, it'd be a lot better decisions that would be made. But the first thing that you need to do is find out what you can and what you can't, what it is and what it ain't, what's your do's and what's your don'ts. And the only place that you're going to find them things out is in the scriptures. At least those who believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Now, if you believe in another God, go search that God's scriptures. Find out the do's and the don'ts, what you can and what you can't, and what it is and what it ain't. Because those are the things that you're going to need to know. Okay? You got to seek your own salvation with fear and trembling. Like Job. So, all praises, though. All praises for being able to read today. All praises for being able to see another Sabbath. All praises for having the wherewithal to be able to think, to be able to read, to be able to speak coherently, to be able to hear, to be able to smell, to be able to move around and do the things that I do. I have breath to breathe, so I have all I need to succeed no matter what's going on in your life. You could be down and out, but as long as you have breath to breathe, then you have all you need to succeed. It may be lessons you need to learn. Hey, you can succeed at that. You just got to figure it out. You got to figure it out. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, it's harder than, easier said than done. It is easier said than done to figure out the lessons that you need to learn. Some lessons be in your face. Voila, I'm out here. Here I go. Some lessons be hid, or it seem like they hid. But in all lessons, it's still something in there. Figure it out. Sometimes you might need to pray. Sometimes you might not need to lean on your own understanding, because it's easier to fall backwards on that leaning on your own understanding. It really is. Like with a lot of the situations I be going through sometimes, I find myself in a predicament where I'm trying to do more than I might be able to do. If it's in the Most High hands, ain't nobody going to be able to take it from him. You know, if he got you under the, take that, chastisement, you know, hey, you're not going to be able to get yourself out of that ass whipping. You got to take it. You got to take it. Figure out what it is. Figure out the reason. You know, repent. Admit your wrongs. Confess. Maybe fast. Maybe pray. Move on. Do what you're supposed to do. And do what you're supposed to do. So all praises, man. Happy Sabbath, everybody. Just setting up some trumpet sounds, blowing up the trumpets. Blow up the trumpets in your times appointed. Man, and he blew the trumpets around Jericho. They blew the trumpets in front of the tabernacle. They blew the trumpets around the temple. They blew the trumpets when they went to war. They blew the trumpets during feast days. They blew up the trumpets. So ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing wrong with you blowing up the trumpets in remembrance of the Most High and being grateful and gladness and show gladness and joy. Love the sounds of the trumpets. Hey, we got to be like Job sometimes. We got to hold our shit together. Even though it like it. Hold it together. Hold fast. Hold fast. Hold fast to that what you have. Sometimes you need to, when shit start happening, you know, sometimes you need to revert back to your basic training. Your basic training, you know, the stuff you practice, the stuff you know. And this should be what you practice, and this should be what you know. This should be your basic default. This should be your basic training. Should be. But a lot of us are choosing to get trained in other mediums, and other crafts and things of that nature. Be mindful of the things you do. Be mindful of the things you hear. Be mindful of the things you see. Be mindful of the things you think. Be mindful of the things you speak. Because it might not be you. It might be somebody whispering. Do it. But it, I can't do that. But if you don't know what you can and can't do, how you gonna know to say that? If you don't know what it is and what it ain't, how you gonna know what to look at? If you don't know the do's and the don'ts, how you gonna know which moves to make? So take your time. Everybody, whoever sees this, hears this, no matter what book you follow, no matter what God you serve, take your time and do and figure out the things that you need to do and do them. Do them. Do them. Before somebody guides you into a ditch. So happy Sabbath, everybody. Keep pushing. Keep pushing. One day at a time, one Sabbath at a time, and we'll keep pushing. The book of Job has 42 chapters. We stopped on chapter 11. We'll come back next time and pick back up. Man. Till next time, everybody. Man, it's Shalom, man. I'm out here, man. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell your people, man. We out here. We reading stuff. We trying to be better. We trying to grow in our mental, grow in our physical, grow in our spiritual. We trying to grow, man. We trying to be better. Better today than we was tomorrow. And hopefully, better today than we was yesterday. And hopefully we'll be better tomorrow than we are today. Or at least that should be the objective. Keep pushing forward. Keep pushing forward. Because there will be obstacles, but you got to keep pushing, man. So, hey, I'm out here, man. Sabbath read. Shalom, everybody. It's Shalom. I'm out here.